Right then guys, it's PSL here, and I'm here for the third episode in my Classic Cars Sprint Championship on F1 2017. And here we've got the current championship standings. We've got 2 drivers on 10 points, 2 drivers on 6 points, I'm on 5 points, and then we've got multiple drivers on 4 points, 1 point. It's actually a very close championship, and I know we've only done 2 races so far, but still, every single driver is within a race win's worth of points of the leaders actually, because we've got 2 cars, 2 drivers leading the championship. This is one of them, the Ferrari F2004. It's got the speed, it's got the power, it's got the downforce, it has got everything to be a championship winning car. I mean, just very few cars in this championship can touch it. This car in theory shouldn't be able to. The McLaren MP4-23, the 2008 championship winning Formula 1 car. V8 engine, less power, no traction control. It shouldn't win, but it's joint leading the championship because of the reverse starting grids, which is why this car is one to watch out for. I said this at the previous Grand Prix, the Spanish Grand Prix, but no Red Bull RB6 has actually scored points yet. But this track plays to its advantages. It's the Hungaroring. It's actually a very short track, Monaco without the barriers as it's called. And because none of the Red Bulls have scored points yet, and because the starting grids are a reverse of the current championship order, it means the Red Bulls are actually starting towards the front. Actually, most of them are starting in a point scoring position, so they should finally be able to score some points in this championship. And it's amazing. The Ferraris have scored points, partly because Silverstone played to their strengths. But here at the Hungaroring, the Red Bulls, they're starting towards the front, and this track, sure as anything, plays to their strengths. In theory, they should actually have the quickest car around this circuit, but we'll see how the race pans out. As the Classic Car Sprint Championship, the third round around the Hungaroring is underway. I'm starting all the way down in 16th place in my Ferrari F2002, and we've got some of the 2006 Renaults. They've got no speed with their V8 engine. I've got a V10 engine, so they've got a massive power deficit. And already, as it turns out, I've moved up from 16th place. I think there's been another Renault forced out. And I've moved up to 8th place, been able to pass one of the Ferrari F2004s, I believe. And there's already a battle going on up ahead with another one of the Renaults and Red Bulls. There's a lot of Renaults, where in theory there should only be 4 2006 Renaults. So I might have misidentified one car during that starting formation. But here we go. So I'm actually one of the championship contenders, having scored 5 points so far in the championship. My teammate, up to this point, hasn't scored any. He's come close, but still hasn't scored any. But, well, because obviously a reverse championship starting grid, well, he started high up and now he's in, was second, but he's got one of the Red Bulls to contend with. The F2002, a very quick car, one of the quickest cars in the field, but around this circuit, I don't think even the F2004 can compete with the Red Bull RB6. So there you go, the Red Bull has moved up into 2nd place. My teammate moving on down into 3rd place. But still both of those cars are in a point scoring position because, well, none of the cars that you're seeing towards the front have scored points yet, hence why they started towards the front. But we've got a Ferrari F2007 leading, we've got some Red Bulls scattered all across the points positions. Now, this was interesting. The Red Bull, which started the furthest up, had the worst start, which is sort of what we saw with the Renaults at the previous races around the Circuit de Catalunya. They had some shocking starts, and in fact, actually, well, one of the Red Bulls has dropped a lot of places. This one is in 4th place, and, well, you got a good view of the battle for 2nd place, which inevitably the Red Bulls won. Now, the Red Bulls, given clean air, given track position, no car could best them. But of course, they've got a power disadvantage, and they're going to struggle to overtake other cars. Now here's a specific moment from the start, because we've got the Red Bull up ahead starting in 5th place. He got off to a very shocking start, so the one in 7th had to swerve out of the way, because the Red Bull up ahead had to swerve to pass the Renault, and that meant that the one that starts in 6th had to move out of the way of the one that started in 7th. Honestly, I am amazed that they all got off cleanly and didn't make contact with each other, because well, they all had to swerve to avoid each other. But yeah, very close, very clean, almost choreographed, almost planned. But anyway, the point is they all got off fairly cleanly, and most of them, in fact if not all the Red Bulls, are actually in point scoring positions, I believe. Certainly the 2 cars separating myself from getting into a point scoring position, because remember, this championship uses the classic point scoring system, so it's only points for the top 6, so I've got to get past both of these 2006 Renaults, which, well, I was able to get past one of them easily, but unfortunately, despite the fact I got a power advantage round the corners, that Red Bull can match this F2002, but even down that fairly short straight there between turn 1 and turn 2, I was able to pull out enough of a gap to get past that Renault there, and we're going to have a look at a replay of it. Because those Red Bulls, well, the Red Bulls, the Renaults, the V8 powered cars, they're quick cars, but unfortunately they're just sitting ducks in a straight line. And in fact, there's another Ferrari there, I believe he's in an F2004, very difficult to tell actually the difference between the F2002 and the F2004 at a glance anyway, but the point is 2 of the V10 powered Ferraris have easily gotten by the V8 powered Renaults, and that's really the story of this championship. It is the V8s versus the V10s. That's basically what this championship has formed into. And in fact, even this Ferrari up ahead is a V8, so we've actually got a V8 Ferrari competing against V10 Ferraris. Unfortunately, we've also got a V8 Ferrari competing against a V8 Red Bull. And actually, as you notice there, the Ferrari slightly pulled away. And that's because, well, I'm not sure about the power difference between the 2007 Ferrari engine and the 2008-2010 Renault engine, but clearly the Ferrari was quicker in a straight line, but then again probably also has less aerodynamic drag as well. Honestly, comparing cars from different eras is slightly difficult because, well, there's so many changes, especially between 2007 and 2010. Now up ahead we've got 2 of the Red Bulls, and in fact, hang on, so suddenly I appear to be pushed out of the way by, well, my car's younger brother, the successor to this car. Just got pushed out of the way, either way, by the Ferrari F2004, and suddenly I'm no longer in a points position. And I was trying to make it out that this is, you know, V8s versus V10s, but we'll have a look. I mean, this is, yeah, the F2004, the evolution on the F2002, and fair enough, there was a gap there, and this is only a 5-lap race, so you've got to kind of take every opportunity you can, but that was dirty play. I mean, he's got himself into a points place, so fair enough, but yeah, I was just minding my own business and then got nudged out of the way. And the merest of touches there. In fact, from that camera angle, it doesn't look like there was really any contact at all. I tried to hold it around the outside, but, well, round that corner, it wasn't going to happen. It was just too tight of a corner, and he had the track position. His car was noticeably ahead of mine at that point anyway, so there's no way I was able to defend the position. Now, we got a battle for 3rd place. This is, in fact, of course, regarding the 2 Red Bulls, which we saw battling just up ahead of me, and then, of course, I got distracted with my own battle involving the F2004. But look at this. This is brilliant. So this Red Bull lost the position to his technically teammate, and then just breezes by. So in that really tight chicane, which I was unable to repass the F2004, he was able to repass his teammate, which shows, I think, just a level of grip in the low-speed corners that Red Bull has, which you just don't get with this Ferrari, with the groove tyres, even with the traction control. It just doesn't have the same level of grip, of mechanical grip, that Red Bull up ahead does. So I'm now down, of course, outside of the points positions. I'm down into 7th place, and getting past the F2004, well, in a straight line isn't going to happen, because that car is the only car on this grid that is actually quicker than my car in a straight line. In fact, it's quicker in every single sense. And this Red Bull, around a lap, should be much quicker than this F2002, but it looks like I've been able to dispatch of one of the Red Bulls there. We're still side by side, ran as right-hander, but then we're able to exploit the power of the V10 engine, and I've got track position. And it looks like the F2004 up ahead has been able to do pretty much exactly the same thing, or now we're coming to a slower speed section, and there you go, the Red Bull around the outside already has opened up a gap. The Ferraris are so much quicker than the Red Bulls in a straight line, but then again the Red Bulls are exactly the same, they're so much quicker through the corners. So they actually average out as being very similar cars in terms of lap time, because the Red Bulls are so much quicker in the corners and the Ferraris compensate for that down the straights. Not this particular Ferrari though, not the F2007, and the Red Bull slightly slower down the straights a couple of laps ago, but he's been able to pass finally. When I say finally, it's only a 5-lap race, and he's been able to actually make that move within 5 laps, within 4 flying laps, to take the lead from the F2007. So, bearing in mind, there's 4 Red Bull RB6s, there's 4 of them competing in this championship. It's the quickest, second quickest car on the grid, and none of them had scored points up until this point in the championship. And they've gone from not scoring any points to, well, 3 of them are still in points positions. 1 of them is leading the Grand Prix, and I really don't think there's anyone who can touch that Red Bull now, because, well, now that we've got a Red Bull up in clean air, we're going to really see the pace that car has got. And in fact, we've got my teammate who's been able to he's tried to pass the F2007, but as you can see in the background, hasn't been able to do it. So, I mean, we're coming up to the final lap of the Grand Prix. We're on the final lap, and unfortunately, that F2004, who pushed his way past me, I haven't been able to repass him. We're so close now. We're coming around the final right-hander corner. This is deja vu. I could just push my way past him, but not quite close enough, unfortunately. He didn't leave the gap like I did when he got past me. But still, despite that, I'm going to score a point. I finished in 6th place, which, considering I started in 16th place, is absolutely brilliant. So, there you go. And, well, unsurprisingly, the Red Bull RB6, bearing in mind he passed that F2007, I believe, a lap ago. You can hardly see any of the cars behind him. That's how much of a gap that Red Bull opened up in the span of a lap. I think 2 laps, to be fair. Look at it, you can't even see the cars behind. But that Red Bull RB6 has gone from scoring no points to actually winning the Hungarian Grand Prix. And the Ferrari F2007 has finished 2nd. Just about been passed by my teammate there, but well, it's too late, the checker flag has already come out. So there you go, look at the lap time difference. That Red Bull RB6, his best lap was a 1:20. Everyone else, to be fair, held up or battling other cars, couldn't even come close to that. So the Red Bulls, they're finally starting to flex their muscles in the championship. And well, lower on down the order, you've got the likes of the 2006 Renaults, who really just haven't had their chance to shine. But then again, in this championship, everyone has had a chance to shine. We've had 3 different race winners: a Ferrari F2004, a 2008 McLaren, and a 2010 Red Bull. And all 3 of those cars are very different. The McLaren shouldn't even be competing for the championship. If you take away the reverse starting grids, that McLaren would not be able to compete with any of the other cars here. And we've still got a Red Bull that hasn't actually scored any points yet. 2 Red Bulls that haven't scored any points yet. So half of them have and half of them haven't. But yeah, there's the finishing positions along with where everyone started. And look, I made up 10 places from my starting positions. So overall, I think my race has gone pretty well. Arguably better than my teammate actually, who started in 4th and only finished 3rd. He only made up 1 position, and he could have taken the lead of the Grand Prix if he was a bit braver heading into the first corner at the start of the Grand Prix. But well, arguably a missed opportunity for him, but he still scored 4 points, so this race has hardly been a complete waste of time for him. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below, and in fact actually it would be interesting to hear your guys' comments on who you reckon is going to win this championship. An F2004, the 2008 McLaren, the 2010 Red Bull, or maybe it will be a car which hasn't even won a race so far this championship. And we've done half of this championship, 3 of the 6 races, and the next one is going to be at a track which is the antithesis of this one. And that track is Monza. And as always, I hope you guys will join me for the next Grand Prix. So I'll see you then.